YouTube, welcome back. I've been playing a game for maybe 5 or 6 days at this point, and the game is only about 7 days old. I am not normally such an early adopter of a game, but it's been recommended to me by people in my Discord and on Twitch, and we tried it out, and it is way more addicting than I thought it was going to be. So this game is called Death Must Die. The very quick TLDR that I can give you about this video game, it is a Vampire Survivors type of game, maybe a reverse bullet hell if you want to call it something like that. It has lore, it has a very big Hades influence in it, both in how you're manipulating the blessings that you're offered, how you can banish some of them, reroll for different god offers, and the imagery has a lot to do with Hades as well. So it's a Vampire Survivor game. It is a Hades type of game. But when you're looking at a roguelike game where you play something for 20 minutes and then you start over, play something for 20 minutes, you start over, you talk about something called meta progression. And the meta progression is like, it's what differentiates roguelite from roguelike. And one is zero meta progression and one is some meta progression. Personally, I hate trying to enunciate those two words, so I try to avoid that discussion altogether. But for right now, we need to talk about it because the meta progression in this game does exist. And it comes from unlocking some characters. It comes from unlocking different play styles or different signs, they're called, with your characters. They're like slightly different loadouts, different buffs you get during the game. And most importantly is, for my audience here, because you're all action RPG players, it is a gear game. You get loot by killing monsters. You get loot by killing bosses, by opening boxes while you are doing your runs, and then from the shop in between runs. So you have gear. It looks very much so like Path of Exile, Last Epoch, Diablo, these sorts of things, where you have your helmet, your body armor, your boots and stuff. And this gear persists between rounds. It is bind on equip. If you want perfect information, currently this game has only been out for about a week, so there is no perfect information. There is technically a wiki. I have found it lacking. There is technically a Discord. I haven't found many good answers for myself there, but things like, where does attack speed roll on my gear? Where do I get more master offer percent chance? I think I know the answer to that, but I don't have perfect information because this game had a live demo for a while, and then it went into beta a week ago. So there's very limited information on this game. Some of the mechanics in the game, you kind of make your best guess about them. Is something bugged? Is it not bugged? I don't know. But one of the reasons that I have been enjoying this game so much is even in my short playtime right now, we've already had 2 patches where the developer is giving feedback, they're taking community feedback, they're active on their own Discord, and they're trying to make the game better, clearer, and have a good difficulty balance as you scale up difficulty. So those things all look excellent to me. I like it a lot. Let me give you a quick rundown of the characters in the game. We'll talk a little bit about the loot that I've had so far and some of the synergies that we've enjoyed playing with. So, we unlock our 5 characters. Our 5 characters look like this. We have our Averon, the Knight. So this guy is kind of boring when you first get him. Honestly, all of your characters are a little bit boring when you first get them because you haven't unlocked any of these signs down here. So we have Sign of the Hero, Sign of the Chosen One, Sign of the Cat. And you unlock these by playing the character. You unlock this one by dying 9 times, which is kind of funny. But you unlock these by playing the game fairly naturally, and they feel like Steam achievements because most of them are also Steam achievements. So as you progress your characters, you will unlock these different playstyles for each of your boyos here. You have attack damage every 3 levels. You tend to be like level 25 or so by the end of your run. As your gear gets better, you're going to end up being like level 40 by the end of a run. This guy has become invulnerable for 3 seconds every 10 seconds. Plus 8 revivals, but minus % life. It's kind of cool stuff. And it makes you want to build your character differently. It makes you want to look for different pieces of gear. And it makes you want to like min-max your character in a slightly different way, depending on which of these loadouts you enjoy using. The next up here is Kront, the Barbarian. This guy has a whirlwind basic attack. He's got some stun thresholds, some attack crit chance every 3 seconds. Something that's notable about this game is it actually has no % increased critical strike chance. It only has flat crit. So whether that's good or bad, at least it's good to know that that's how this game works, and you can kind of value the gear that you find based on that knowledge. We have armor gives you no damage reduction, which I think is fun for low difficulty. I don't think this is something that I want to do at high difficulty because I really find myself wanting the gods that give you defense. I find myself wanting gods that give me like life gain or life regeneration or block or things like that. Not block, but like stunning enemies. This has not been something that I wanted to try out, but let's keep hovering over these so that you know, roughly speaking, what's in this game. In terms of like end game, pushing the highest difficulty, my characters, I'm pretty happy when I have about 100 or maybe even 150 life. As I play more, I might want more life than that, but I think about 100 life is a good place to be. So Kront here has a passive where you can't restore life and you get plus 222 flat life, which is kind of like an interesting meta question about roguelites. Is there amount of flat life that you can give your character where you're comfortable not having not having regeneration, not having life on hit? How much flat life do you need where you feel comfortable not having any source of regeneration at all? There are revives in the game where like if you die, you come back to life, and stacking revives along with this, maybe that's a cool thing to do. Let's go on to our next one. Maris the Sorceress. She's the only ranged character in the game. So everyone else is a melee basic attack. She's a ranged basic attack. She's got some cool stuff going on here. Spell damage, some homing projectiles. I think this is garbage. It feels bad to play, but you know, it exists. That's cool. Infinite pull range. This is a Vampire Survivors type of game, which means experience drops on the ground, these little gems, and pull range means that they pull the gems from anywhere on the map. So the map is very, very limited because this game is early access and only has one map, but we'll talk more about that later. And this gives you the experience gems coming to your character no matter where they are on the entire map. But it's -1 dash, and when the monsters start getting scarier, -1 dash is a real downside for this. Next up, we have some plus projectiles and some summon damage every 3 levels in case you want to play it as a summoner style build. Next up is Nixie. This has been described to me as someone who's like cast on crit, because I feel as though what people enjoy doing most with Nixie is this luck chance every 3 levels. So there's lots of things in this game that are like % chance to make this thing happen on hit, and luck increases that % chance. So if you have a 10% chance for something to happen and you have plus 10% luck, then 10% luck of that 10% chance is 11%. Because 10, 1, right? Okay. So that's how that luck and % chance stuff works there. The rest of this is attack speed per level. We have more damage striking enemies who are on low health. +1 dash, but dash cooldown. And then pickups. Pickups are things like health, magnets to make the experience orbs come to you faster. +1 jump, take no damage, things like that. So I don't really like this one, but I think most people play her as like a cast on crit luck stacking thing, in my experience talking to people. And also, in my experience, I think most people call this the strongest character, Scotty. So I'll show you the 5 boons. I'll tell you the one that I tend to like, and I'll tell you the one that people like because it's OP. So the first is movement speed per 3 levels, so gotta go fast. Then we have a random skill, gains +1 level every 2 levels. This is pretty neat. So every time you level up twice, you get a +1 level on one of the things you already have. So most boons have 5 levels in them, and all boons also have a rarity associated with them. Next one is applying random status ailments, having a bird fight next to you in case you want to be a summoner kind of thing, and life regeneration. Life regeneration, when it comes to difficult content, is cozy. It's something that I've been enjoying. Realistically, getting +1 level every 2 levels for your random buffs that you've already taken is very, very good. This is definitely, probably the strongest thing in the game. It's very, very strong. So that is what the loadouts for the 5 characters look like here. The meta progression, let's jump our way all the way over here, right past the lore that I don't feel like reading, and we'll take a look at these achievements here. So as you unlock your characters, or sorry, as you try to unlock those different playstyles that we just went over, you'll see those over here. Kill condition, kill 500 skeletons, defeat the Baron guy, which is the current endgame boss. We'll see a few more of these. Defeat the chatty skeleton 33 times, and this is across multiple runs, not just in one run. And you do this in order to unlock those other things. The party stuff down here is purely cosmetic, and it's also based on Steam achievements. The only one that I don't have here is taking no damage. Now, if you're familiar with Hades, you already know what this is. In Hades, they call it heat. In this game, they call it darkness. So this is your old friend here. And then as you make the game harder, there'll be item rarity here as well. You get more mythic items, more unique items, more items with interesting modifiers on them. And then the monsters will also have more health, more damage, along with anything else that you spec into there. We can talk about the shop, but I think that's kind of boring. There is only one stash tab. Nothing other than this. So you are very limited on the kind of gear that you want to keep. I think that's a good thing. I don't think you want like 200 stash tabs like Last Epoch does. I don't think you want to turn it into like a cosmetic that you pay for like Path of Exile does, but, or not a cosmetic, but you know, stash tabs like Path of Exile does. I like the flavor of this. Listen, if they change it down the line, whatever, who cares? But this is currently how it is. So only one small little stash tab and only one small little inventory for when you want to drag items from your run back into your stash here. But let's look at what items look like here. So we have our 5 characters across the top. I can see my 5 characters, different gear. Gear is bind on equip. We said that already. So as soon as I put a piece of gear onto one of my 5 characters, it stays on one of those 5 characters. Love it or leave it. This is my first game that I've played with that in it. I've been tending to play only 2 characters. So I'm basically just gearing up those 2 characters with my best gear. But there's also light, heavy, and medium types of gear for your boots, body armor, and helmets. And then there are weapons. And of course, like, you know, I have my warrior only. You see the text at the very bottom in green. And then for my barbarian, it says barbarian only. So even though it is bind on equip, you'll see that that only really matters for things like belts or rings or relics, because those are the things that are truly interchangeable between each of your characters. So Scotty is the character that I've been playing the most. This little redhead here that has +1 level every 2 levels. Let me show you my gear. Let me show you what kinds of stats exist. I have been loving more master offers. So we talked about each of the boons you get in game have 5 levels to the boon. And then each of the boons also have quality to them. So there are novice, which is the normal one. There's adept, which is slightly better. There's expert, which is slightly better. And then there's master, which is the best offer of all of those normal boons. There's also legendary, but that's kind of its own tier altogether. So we're just going to ignore that. Having master offers is a huge spike in damage, and it's also a big spike in fun. So I like that a lot. More master offers also means you get like more legendary offers more often. So if you like gambling, if you like really fun stuff, I think master offers is probably the best thing that you can get on any piece of gear. I'm pretty sure it only rolls on head or amulet here. Other things that your gear might have on them are reroll dice. Let's see if I can find a good example here. I've got banish die, reroll dice. Let's see. I think I have a good example in my inventory here to show you what I'm talking about. This one's fine. So this piece of gear that I'm hovering over here with the pink and green text, it has +2 banish dice and +3 alteration dice. And these dice help you manipulate which gods you're being offered during your run, and also which boons those gods are offering to you. So a banished dice means that that god will no longer offer that boon to you. An alteration dice changes the god altogether. And then there is a reroll dice that also exists. If I can find an example of what that looks like. Let's find something that has a reroll on it. Does this one have reroll? Banish, reroll. This one has a reroll on it right here. Oh, wait, where is it? Yeah, okay. So this has reroll. My jewel does. So +1 reroll die rerolls the 3 boons that are currently being offered to you from whatever god as you level up. So that's what your gear tends to look like. There is experience gain, movement speed, dash cooldown. The weapons in this game, this is an important thing to note. The flat damage and the % increased attack damage. I'm fairly positive that weapons in this game, in terms of flat attack speed and the % increased damage, I'm pretty sure the weapons work basically the same as Path of Exile, where all of these are local modifiers to the weapon itself in terms of the flat damage, the attack speed, and the % increased damage. And then later on, if you get attack speed or % increased generic damage from a different source, that's multiplicative on top of this. So if you're somebody who likes having perfect information like I do, it's worth noting that that is, I'm pretty sure, because it's a very new game, I'm pretty sure that's how the game works. So that's something to keep note of there. As you're playing this game, we said master offers is very strong. Experience gain is very strong. Chance to gain life on hit is something that's relevant. Movement speed, dash cooldown, I think is exactly the kind of thing you're looking for in a pair of boots. Yeah, so I think that's just about it. Let's do a little run here. Let's go kill some monsters. And we'll show you, roughly speaking, what kinds of decisions I'm making at the beginning of my runs. The top left corner of my screen, you'll see that it says 30. That means we're playing on the highest difficulty currently. One thing that's neat about this game, in addition to like it having gear as the meta progression, is you'll see the map is on the top right corner of my screen. And that is that's telling me where are the objectives that I care about. So we can stand at spawn and we can just never ever move, but it's a lot more fun if we do move and we look around the map for some extra objectives. So we leveled up once. We got Kronk here. This is the equivalent to Ares, if you're familiar with that. And we can just grab any old thing here. So these are all level 1 offers. We have our banish, rerolls, and alterations here. If we alteration, then instead of having Kronk, we will instead have Time, the Time God. And you saw that these are all bright red. Whew! And we even have a legendary offer here. I like legendary offers. So we'll take one of these here. And I actually really like this, but it's okay. We're just gonna click some random stuff for the sake of a run through here. So legend, we said this is like the extra tier that like kind of sits on top of everything. But remember we said there was novice, adept, expert, and master. So I have a bunch of master offer % chance on my gear, which it's pretty cool. We can just take some master offers right now. So I just spec'd into something. I can hit tab. I can see what did I get from the random things I've clicked on, like from the what are these called? From the shrines that I'm interacting with in game. I can see all skills offered to novice. I hit all of this. I don't want this. These are all bad. No. Oh, I'm just going to lose all my luck because I don't think I have much luck anyways. So everything that I click on in game shows up in my tab menu. The newest thing shows up on top there, which is great. All the boons that I have are on the left side of my screen. Again, if you played Hades before, you're very familiar with this layout. So my dash is over here. You can see exactly what it does. We just picked up this legend thing. Or sorry, the Sign of the Apprentice is my loadout that we picked before we walked into the map. Alteration Ritual is the master boon that we just clicked on. And then it says, when you gain a level, gain a random boon. So this is kind of like some RNG stuff that I enjoy playing with because it's a lot of fun. And we RNG'd into something called Soul Stealer. This is a spell summon. My attack has a chance on hit, so it's influenced by luck, to spawn summons. And all summons in this game also scale off of spell damage. So if I had % increased generic damage, if I had % summon damage, or % spell damage, all of that would scale this particular proc. So that's a cool thing to talk about. I think the best thing if you'd be doing at a low time in the game is just to explore as much as possible. So there's only a couple monsters here, and there's going to be way more monsters later on. And one of the things that I like about this particular game as like a Vampire Survivors style game is that you're really incentivized because of these shrines and these various things that you can click on in the map. These objectives give you a reason to want movement speed, to run through the map, to explore as much as possible. Stone of Power gives me plus 100% increased damage. I'm pretty sure it's increased. I'm pretty sure it's not more. But, see, what else can we talk about here?
Rather naive presentation.
Yo, dude. Hey, Winter, what's going on? I don't think Winter's particularly good, but we can show you some of the mechanics of how this works here. Let's click an alteration. Alteration to Lady Justice. I do like Lady Justice. For you Hades players, it's kind of like Athena. It's good defenses, good life regeneration stuff. So we can re-roll. So we're going to keep Lady Justice, but we're going to ask for new offers instead. So let's go like this. Ooh, cool. And I don't think I want the basic attack from this. So let's go ahead and use one of our banishes on her basic attack. And we'll re-roll one more time. It's worth noting that the game tries to give you a dash modifier and it tries to give you a basic attack modifier pretty early into your run. So you're going to see those pop up a lot until you have one of them. Let's reroll one more time and not get anything that's master tier. Come on. Little RNG for YouTube. Red. Oh, it's not red. It's okay. I'll take the one that has life regeneration because I think life regeneration is pretty good. Boop. Let's see. There's a grave. Garbage. So you have invulnerability whenever you dash. You can dash through a pack of monsters. God, I hate this guy so much. He's so annoying. Eh. Get him. Get him. Eh. I think the devs did an excellent job of making this one particular monster as annoying as possible. He talks to you, he's chatty, and I hate him. So here's Lagong, or however you pronounce his name. This is the lightning guy. Ooh, it's shiny. God, it's that red color. It's so good. What are we gonna take here? Our attacks are stronger and have a chance to trigger an additional attack. Ooh. So the fact that this is master tier influences the damage, but it doesn't actually influence the percent chance here. So this is not a great use of a master tier thing, unless you're going for like an attack-based build, I suppose. Chain lightning's cool. This thing scales up pretty well, and it just got buffed as well. And lightning orbs. So we have two different things, and these both say auto cast on them, which I think this game might need another tag on these. So this is your attack hits have a chance influenced by luck. And luck is something that you can build more of, and you can build attack speed. Lightning orbs, on the other hand, they are not influenced by luck, and you can't make them happen faster. You kind of can, but we'll talk about that in a second. This is auto cast. It doesn't happen on hit. It's just a thing that happens with a cooldown. There is spell cooldown, and there is spell speed, which also influences cooldown. In fact, Lei Gong also has some of that in a boon that he has called Brevity. But it seems to me that like the builds that I enjoy playing and the builds other people enjoy playing are luck-based things that scale with attack speed. And I don't hear a lot of people expressing that they've popped off really hard with autocasts. So in terms of vernacular, when I say autocast, I mean cooldown based procs that aren't based on your basic attack and they aren't based on luck chance. So I'm going to take this thing because it's cool and it reminds me of playing Ark. Pew, pew, pew. Let's go with this. Ooh, space warps around me. So you can see that the experience that I left a long way behind me is kind of zooming back to me. And we're going to go to the 4-minute mark here. We're going to play for 2 more minutes here. So you can kind of get a feel for what the beginning of the game looks like and how I play it. We've been having just a little bit of luck here. So let's go alteration. Let's look for someone different. Lady Justice is here. It's important to note we have time. Remember, time was the very first god we picked up. Then we got Lady Justice. And we got some life regeneration for that. And now we have Lei Gong. So we have 3 gods. We're no longer going to get any other gods. We're not going to get the fire one or the winter one or anyone else because you can only have 3 gods. There is one bonus god. If you're a Hades player, it's kind of like having Hermes, and that is the Fates. The Fates are like a meta god that can appear in addition to the 3 that you've selected. So let's grab some, I don't know. Let's grab nothing. Let's grab Celestial Wings. There's a penalty that your character has for attacking. Celestial Wings says that you don't have that penalty while you're dashing. So that's a pretty good buff here. There's an elite monster here that hits like a truck. You'll also see that he had, I guess you'll have to rewind a second, but you'll see that he had a blue health bar for a moment there. When he goes below that blue health bar, that's like his stun threshold, which means that when he goes below the blue threshold, every attack will stun him after that point. So that's some meta information for you to have. Let's grab something here. Come on. I like grabbing stuff that's a master offer because I think it's a really good, beautiful color. So I don't know how to pronounce this. Moire, flawless. This is the fate god. This is that meta god. So we have attacks have crit chance, +1 rerolls, and attack faster. I'm going to take some attack faster here. Let's go ahead and do that. Bloop. I said earlier on,
allow me.
I'm going to talk over this now. I said earlier on that this game is very early access. There is literally only 1 level. This is it. There's nothing else. The game is called Death Must Die. Death, not in the game. He's not there. The end game is currently Dracula, the Baron of something something. But yeah, Death's not in the game yet. So what do I expect? I really think it really seems like at some point there's going to be crafting in this game. I would bet on crafting being there at some point, and I would also bet that it's like lightweight crafting. I would not expect a very intensive crafting mechanism, but I would expect like some lightweight crafting based on how I've experienced the game so far. Bloop, grab some armor here. There's only one map. Yep, there's only literally one map. We talked about heavy, light, and medium armor. There are 2 characters who use heavy armor, 2 characters who use light, and only 1 that uses medium. So I feel as though there's probably going to be 1 more character at some point, because it would make a lot of sense to have 2 medium, 2 light, and 2 heavy. So that's the kind of thing that I would bet on. Let's grab this warp strike here. Boop. Let's go punch some stuff. Yo, dude. So we're at the 3-minute 30 mark. And the first thing that you're going to experience as a brand new player is coming up at the 4-minute mark. And I want you to see it before we call it quits for this video here. And that is the slimes. When I was a brand new player, I died over and over to them because you kind of got to get a feel for what your characters are and are not able to do. How much can you kite while walking backward? Can you use your iframes from your dash in order to like run through monsters? And what kinds of things do you need in order to survive the early game as a brand new player who has no gear and limited in-game experience? So this is the slime level.
I see upon you.
Bloop. Let's click on, look at some life regen. Oh, baby. So you see I've got this black wall, and that black wall is slowly encroaching on me. So I'm currently locked in, and you'll experience, you'll get locked in 4 times, right? Ooh, oh my god, the slimes. Do 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 do. Get them, boys. So having something that gives you AoE clear, something that helps you to deal with the slimes early game, feels pretty important. I'm gonna banish this thing. Come on. Ooh, movement speed. Love movement speed. Movement speed helps me kite backward faster. Do you see that as I move backward, I got like kind of slow, but if I stop attacking, then I'm actually faster. You can click Q in order to auto attack all the time in case you don't want to use your right hand for any reason. But I like having Q turned off so that if I need to walk, if I want that extra movement speed, I can just not attack anymore. Let's grab some extra stuff. Whoa, those guys died fast. Ooh, look at that. So we're no longer boxed in. And you can see that's roughly what the game looks like. It gets hectic as you increase the difficulty of the game. It becomes fun. As someone who's been playing for like 4 or 5 days at this point, I don't always clear 30 darkness. It's still fun. There's still lots of builds and combinations of things that I would like to try. And I like the developers have already been issuing patches. They listen to community feedback. They note on their patch notes which buffs or nerfs have been influenced by the community feedback that they receive on the Discord, and that's good. So this game seems like something that could have legs for a long time if the developers continue to develop it, and it seems like they will, because I know a lot of big streamers and a lot of big content creators have already been interested in this game, and for good reason, because it's fun, and it makes me want to go just one more round, until all of a sudden it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I need to be up tomorrow. So I'm going to go deal with the ramifications of my bad decision making. Hopefully you try this game out. When I picked it up, it was like $6 or so. I think it was excellent money spent. But we're going to go play some more, probably restart this round and try for some better rounds. And yeah, let's go kill Dracula and get some good gear. We'll see how it goes. I'll see you next time.